My name is Sally. Sitting here in my quiet living room, looking at my daughter playing happily with her toys, I'm reminded of the storm that recently raged in my family. Their once confident wedding plans are now in tatters, and I can't say I feel sorry. It all started when I received a flurry of panicked messages from my family. My mother's texts were filled with desperation. "Sally, we need to talk. Your sister's wedding venue is gone. Are you doing this to ruin her big day?" And my sister, Emily, called me 23 times. Just a few days ago, she was the one who said, "She doesn't deserve it anyway. Take her away. She's not even part of our family." Let me rewind a bit. I come from a well-to-do family in a small town. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, are seen as pillars of the community. But behind the polished exterior, they've always had a coldness towards me. My father is a strict and controlling man, always focused on appearances. My mother is more passive-aggressive, using guilt to get what she wants. I have a younger sister, Emily, who has always been the apple of my parents' eye. She's used to getting her way and has never shown me or my daughter, Lily, any kindness. Lily is a sweet 7-year-old with a heart full of love and dreams. I remember the day of Lily's birthday. It was supposed to be a joint birthday party for all the cousins. I spent the entire night baking a beautiful cake with pink swirls and butterfly toppers, just like Lily had chosen. When we arrived at the party venue, it was as if we were invisible. There were no balloons, no seat for Lily, and no one even bothered to say her name. Then, I found Lily's cake in the trash. It was half melted, with the plastic wings of the butterflies crushed. Emily stood there, grinning like she hadn't just broken a little girl's heart. I bent down to Lily and whispered, "You did nothing wrong, baby. You deserve every good thing." Then, without a word, I picked up the ruined cake, took Lily's hand, and walked away from the backyard full of fake smiles and clapping cousins. What they didn't know was that I had a card up my sleeve. I had recommended Emily's wedding venue, a beautiful private estate on the cliffs. I had worked there years ago as an event planner and maintained a great relationship with the owners. The booking was in my name, and after the birthday fiasco, I sent an email to the venue manager, "Please remove the Thompson wedding booking under my name. I'm no longer involved." The next morning, the calls started pouring in. Emily was in a panic because the venue was gone, and so were most of the vendors. I didn't answer her calls because I knew exactly what she wanted. Later that day, Emily showed up at my door, mascara running and heels in hand. "Sally, please. I didn't mean it. Mom made me say those things about Lily," she gasped. I tilted my head and asked, "You mean when she said my child doesn't belong in the family?" Her lips quivered as she tried to make excuses. She told me that the venue had cancelled, and the caterer had backed out. All the vendors, from the flowers to the band, had been booked through me. I looked at her and calmly said, "You'll figure something out." But she pleaded, "The wedding's in 6 days, Sally." I leaned against the doorframe and reminded her, "You mean the party celebrating the baby you told Lily didn't deserve to live?" Her face went pale. I then reached into the bowl beside the door and pulled out an envelope. "This is my blessing for the new venue. I called a cheaper one last night and told them you'd be reaching out," I said. She was relieved and thankful until I added, "But I gave them your real budget." After I shut the door, I heard Lily giggling. I knelt beside her and kissed her forehead. "You did nothing wrong," I whispered. She mumbled, "They were mean but we're not." "No, sweetheart. We're not," I replied. My phone buzzed again. It was my mother, leaving voicemails. Then, a call from the venue manager. "Sally, they tried to use your deposit, but I told them it had been refunded to your name. You're all cleared. Do you want us to block them from rebooking?" I didn't hesitate. "Yes. Block them. And send the final notice to her personally." As the days went by, their wedding plans continued to fall apart. The florist cancelled, the photographer pulled out. Even my brother, Tom, sent me a text saying he understood why I was doing this. Then, I received a message from my aunt, who I rarely spoke to. She sent me a photo of my mother and Emily holding Lily's cake days before the party, laughing like it was a joke. It was clear that they had never intended for Lily to have her birthday celebration. They had used it as a way to humiliate us. My mother then sent me a message, demanding that I fix the wedding venue within 24 hours. I didn't reply. Instead, I sent her the photo from my aunt and blocked her. I realized that they had never truly seen me as a daughter or a sister. They had only seen me as a source of money and support. So, I decided to take control. I logged into an old shared vendor dashboard from my previous job. Years ago, when my mother had begged me to help plan Emily's engagement, I had quietly registered her name under the account. I pulled up the wedding vendor list. Everything was booked in my name. I didn't cancel anything but instead froze access to all the vendors. I made sure that no one but me could approve changes or payments. By Friday morning, the group chat was in chaos. My mother had renamed it Urgent Wedding Chaos and texted me, "You've always been selfish, but this is your sister's big moment." The word selfish cut me deeply. I had never asked for much, just a little bit of love and recognition. I didn't reply to the group chat. Instead, I updated a local restaurant's website to say that it was now accepting private events. Within hours, I had 2 bookings from strangers. The venue coordinator called me to say that my family had been calling, claiming I had made unauthorized changes. But everything was in my name. I asked her to send an email to my mother about the outstanding balance for the wedding services. By evening, my mother's Facebook page went dark. But at 11:58 p.m. she sent me a message, "We need to talk. Please, don't ruin your sister's life over some cake." I took a screenshot and replied, "This isn't about the cake. This is about everything you threw away." I scrolled through old texts from my family, filled with requests for money and excuses for not including me. They used to make me feel small, but now they were just evidence of their mistreatment. I drafted an announcement in my notes app. Due to repeated disrespect and erasure, I've chosen to step back from family events. This includes financial assistance, emotional labor, and attendance. I'm not angry. I'm simply done. Wishing you all clarity and healing. I posted it at 9 a.m. By noon, my inbox was flooded with messages. Some were angry, some were sarcastic, and some were just silent. But the one that stood out was from my cousin, Ava. She said, "I saw your post." I cried. I felt the same way for years. Thank you for saying it. You gave me the courage to say no, too. Later that evening, I took Lily out for ice cream. She giggled as the chocolate melted down her wrist. We walked home hand in hand, passing by the event venue that had once refused us entry. This time, the banner said, "Closed for private event. Booked by owner." I smiled. I hadn't burned bridges, I had simply lit my own path, one where Lily would always feel like she belonged.